Hey everyone, so I was able to sit down with the head landscaper here at Merritt College, Dwight Alsbach, and talk about the impacts that a college campus will have on students to a variety of means, their parents, any family or friends who may visit, and some other things, so stay tuned, stick around. In terms of beautification of campus, how do you think it impacts student retention and recruitment?
Well, I think it's really important to have an environment that people feel comfortable in. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. Whether students realize or pay much attention to it, the environment still exists. And I think that it's critical as far as recruitment goes, because as the parents are walking through campus, they really see that we care about it. It is critical as far as the grounds department feels for recruitment.
I was actually thinking kind of the same thing, because it's not necessarily something, because you kind of take it for granted, right? Like it's there, but you got so many other things to worry about, and you don't necessarily pay attention to it. And so it kind of makes you feel good, like maybe seeing some color and some different plants that maybe you haven't seen before. I think it maybe does help or have somewhat of an impact on maybe mental health.
Well, and historically when Jordan and I got together, and our vision was to bring the campus landscape into the 20th century, 21st century. Most of the plantings, the hedges and things were circa 1960s, 70s, where everything was framed by a taxus, every walkway, every entranceway. So we started eliminating those things with the support of Michelle Mara, and Dr. Rood was very much into revamping campus over time. As we eliminated large amounts of boxwoods and taxus, we found that most staff, faculty didn't even realize they were gone. So when nothing looks better than what was there, you're on the right track. So over the last 6 years, we've made a concerted effort to introduce not only color through annual flowers and tropicals, but add dwarf conifers and woody flowering plants into the landscape, especially on the library bank, which was an abysmal sea of low growth sumac that we actually hand dug one at a time, and then over time are introducing plant material that has a sculptural quality, so it's almost like a living sculpture garden. And then when the snow is on the ground and all the color is pretty much gone from the landscape as far as our planters and the beds go, we still have aesthetic elements that are outstanding in the environment. And again, we can carry an aesthetic feeling and the beautification into the winter months too.
And that actually kind of brings me into the next thing. So I know sustainability is important to everyone, but also Merritt College, and really important to us, because we like to be kind of self-sufficient in regards to our plants and plantings and stuff. So what can you tell us about?
Well, what we've endeavored to do is we've introduced, I think we have 5 planters now that have exotic bamboos in them. The bamboo offers a nice aesthetic touch as far as something from a different continent even. And we don't have to replant it. So they winter over on site in the planters, and that saves us money as far as having to replant the planters every season. We've put ornamental pines in the 2 large bowls up by the DBRC and the arbor there. We winter over a number, at least 6 or 7 planters, elephant ears, alocasia, philodendron, cordyleria, bocarnia, ponytail palms. So we're over time saving probably hundreds if not thousands of dollars as far as plant material goes. The challenge for us is wintering it over. So far so good. We've had some decent results, and so the challenge is how we can continue to introduce plants that we can winter over and reuse the next season.
And I know we spoke a little bit about past plantings and projects that we've done, but what can you say for the future? What's kind of in store for campus?
Well, we still have a lot of open area on the library bank. Our island beds, we're considering doing permanent plantings in the bed just above the flagpole bed. The flagpole bed itself is going to change. It's going to become more of a rock garden. We'll have boulders, minimal plantings. We're going to put in 2 bases for 2 bamboo planters that are currently at the Burton House over on Parsons. We also are going to continue to introduce more perennial lilies and perennial plants that will come back every year. I'd like to focus some on peonies, which would be blooming hopefully around our graduation, or at least the last couple weeks of school. So we're continuing to consider permanent installations to save us money as far as the annual plantings. The planters will always be having a lot of color around, but they will not, in the future, won't be much the focal points as they are just support with everything else within the landscape environment.